me.
Episode 387.
You've got to throw some cold water on this situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Indeed they are. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of NetHeads. My name is Will.
My name is Trent.
Welcome to episode number 387. That's Trent-ertainment. I'm deciding something very dumb. Okay, I'm freely admitting it's something dumb. And by the way, if you're not used to the energy level you're going to get today, my apologies. But I have been, as one would put it, dizzier than crap, dizzier than shit. I'm more dizzy than a mouse stuck inside of the Gravitron, or a hamster that went crazy in the wheel and then lost his footing.
That stopped and it kept going.
Exactly.
No, I was actually going to ask you about this earlier, but does your vertigo affect you differently now? It post concussion.
That is a great question. I'm glad you asked, Trent. The answer to the question is no. I'm just dizzier and now dumber. So that's, a winning combination. Case in point, my friend, because I knew I was playing hurt and I'm not really supposed to have caffeine, but in trying to get the energy level up, I lied to myself and I poured this Cherry Coke Zero, which, by the way, again,
dude,
if you're going for a sugar-free drink that doesn't taste like a sugar-free drink, the cherry flavor overcomes any of that aftertaste. And
just like soda is like, I don't care who you are, it is a treat. Like it is just like happiness in your mouth.
Yeah, man. And when you go this route, it's not as bad for you, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's fair.
But it does be, the Cherry Coke Zero is the one that becomes a treat because it still tastes like soda, which to me has always been, I want to drink something cold, but I can't drink a candy bar. So
Yep, exactly, man.
and candy bars don't have caffeine in them, so you get it.
Yep. I get it.
So no, it's not any different, but it's been 2 days of discomfort and unfortunateness, and it is what it is. So, forgot where I was even going with that. Okay, so the thing is, I've decided to do something dumb though, and that is that way back in the day, there was this little podcast, Trent. You may have heard of it. It was called Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. Right?
I've heard, yes.
And every one of those episodes that occurred, I think after the Me and My Shadow run in the beginning that happened, every title worked the name Muse into it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I dreaded shows during the Christmas season because there's only so many ways, all I want for Christmas is Muse.
Right, yeah.
I saw Mommy Kissing, see, that one doesn't work. So, and
Music Clause.
Yeah, so it doesn't work. So I figure, you know what? I bet you I can come up with something that's an even more limited run on names, and that's every time that you're on the show, we're going to somehow work your name into the title.
Yeah.
And in this case, I mean, that's I already last week was pitching a Trent, which is great, but now we've played off of the we've played off the tent.
Yeah.
And now I've already used another ent with entertainment, so I think about 2 more and we'll just be done.
Yeah, it'll but you know what? It'll be a good run.
Yeah, hopefully it will be, fingers crossed. We can't make any promises. But what I can make you a promise of, Trent, is that there is noise in the background because, again, I'm dumb. Okay?
On my end, I don't hear any noise.
No, I've got a 3D printer going right now. So anyone hears that, my apologies. I do have doors I could close, but apparently that requires effort. So, and it might be during this show, based on what I'm seeing, we might hear it also finishing up. So my apologies for the cute little ditty that it might play afterwards. But I'm really dumb, Trent. Last week we did as we promised, and we sent you some wonderful stuff. A little payola, if you will, so that way, to help compensate for the computer upgrade, get you into a little bit of cash before the Labor Day weekend, and that's all courtesy of our Patreon subscribers, including our Patreon supporter of the week, who is Josh Mundal. I don't know if you're familiar with the name, Trent, but go ahead.
Josh, first and foremost, there's a Toho kaiju named Mondal from like 1963, I think. Not a Godzilla movie, but still a kaiju movie made by maybe it was Showa at the time. Anyway, thank you, Josh, because I took advantage of the Labor Day sales and did some price comparisons and got some stuff from the Amazon and some stuff from the Newegg. I don't have it with me, Will, but I picked up just a little 2.5-inch solid state drive enclosure that's just barely big enough for the enclosure to fit into it. So it's nice and thin, and it connects your SATA and your power source, and then just comes through one USB, and it's sleek, and it was $8, man. It was like I've been telling everyone at work this whole week. I'm like, oh, check this out. Oh, check this out. Check this out. And they're all like, oh, cool. I'm like, no, this changes everything, man.
And then by the time the third guy is like, the others have already, they're like, don't. By the way, I'm glad you got the black T-shirt memo. For those of you that are watching, you can see that Trent and I are simpatico. Mano y mano. No, wait, that's not right. No, Trent, I'm an idiot because I don't read. So we did that. We sent you some cold hard cash, and then since we had extracted the funds, I'm like, you know what? We got it. Hi, Amy McCorkle. I figure, hey, you know what? We really need to also do some stuff around here. Now, I have been having issues where I don't know if it's related to my computer or some software running on it, or it's just coincidence or a bad cable. Could be any one of these things. But I keep getting like bad network traffic all around the systems that are around this one. And then I restart it and the problem goes away. So, I think obviously I've been hacked and there's a secret server that's running somewhere on my machine.
Yeah, right. Like you worry about like, well, God, what could be sending and receiving right now with nothing running.
Yeah. Am I right now an unwitting host serving out like Deadpool and Wolverine handheld videotaped copy? I just said videotaped.
The only person to ever go to jail for pirating on torrents was for a copy of Wolverine.
Yeah, so you don't. Yeah, but that was the leaked previs version of a movie.
Yeah.
So which was really, really crappy of them. But I also had been trying to make the decision. You know what? Because you just went through it. I'm like, you were forced upon you, is what it was.
Right.
You had no choice,
fair, right? Yeah.
But I'm happy to see you're no longer placing the dead carcass within eyesight of the new system so that it knows what'll happen if it misbehaves. I appreciate that.
No, like part of me wants to put it up for sale on like Facebook Marketplace or something, but it's got so many big fans on it that I kind of want to use one side of it just to mount against my window to suck air out of my room because it gets so hot in here.
or the other thing that you could do, and by the way, don't let me forget about the system. Another thing you could do is you could use those fans with an alternative power source, and you could use a styrofoam cooler in order to make yourself a cheap ass air conditioner. Yeah,
full on swamp cooler style.
Yeah, man. Blow some air over that ice and let it maybe do something. No, I was trying to make the decision if I needed to upgrade my computer. I've only had it for 3 years. So, that's still a bit soon, I think, in the world of computer upgrades.
Agreed.
There's no reason, especially considering I threw all the memory I could in it. I did a lot of stuff, but I noticed that, and at the time when I got it 3 years ago, it had a graphics card, NVIDIA. It was an RTX 3060, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
If that sounds right.
Yep. 16 gig card.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yep,
sir.
That was, and still people argue that it's doing better. That's still a better card than NVIDIA's 4080, which is their top of the line right now.
Well, let me tell you something, my friend. Considering I do so much video editing now, and so much of it is GPU heavy, right? Like so much so, I'm like, should I be one of those people that has one of them external GPU boxes that does all that rendering for you?
Yeah.
But I'm not doing that. So what I did decide to do was, looking at them Labor Day sales, I picked me up an RTX 4060. Okay. And let me tell you something. The first thing that I notice when I'm rendering videos or I'm playing video games, the very first thing I notice is the absence of severe fan noise. Gone.
Yeah, dude. Yep.
I don't know what they...
The 4060 has a completely redesigned heatsink on it, if I remember correctly, to shed heat.
Well, then it's doing a hell of a job because it's the sheet. The sheet is heading. Nope. The heat is shedding. That and typos, man. A lot of that stuff going around. It's working really well. And I think the majority of the problems I was having with the system are now gone. I don't know about the network issue. I judge it because I use, both you and I use the software package known as Synergy for keyboard, video, and mouse sharing. It cannot be matched yet, is my hot take on it. They can't.
You put me onto it over a decade ago, and I'm still using it. And it's so great because I bought it once, and I'm still using that same license.
Yeah, they've been really good about that. They've been really. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen after they finalize version 3 or whatever the hell it is they're doing. But I have had a license on it forever, and it's great. But that's the reason why I judged that there was an issue, because going over from one computer to the next, I would see a stuttering issue happen. That seems to have cleared itself up now in the way of movement
between your computers. On
yeah. Well, the mouse would also just like jump or get lost totally because I'm looking at the monitor like you guys can see what I'm playing with. It's what I love about doing a video show for your podcast, everybody. It's just genius. So I did that upgrade. Everything seems great. And the thing that I loved the most was not only did I not hear the fan noise, but it was the first time in a long time where I've rendered out a video and like, look, it used to be I render the video, I see the time estimate, I F off and I come back, right?
Yep, I know exactly what you mean.
It used to be like back in the old school days of digitizing videos, I would get the video all the way to the end, I would zero it out, and then I would run it back, because then I got a countdown to when it's going to be done, right?
Yep. Yeah, you have an actual alarm, time code that works.
Yeah, you set an alarm, come back 5 minutes before it's supposed to be done, see that it finishes, bink, beautiful, lovely, so glad it worked. Well, with this is the first time in a long time I ran the video, and the very first, oh, wait. I'm glad I'm on you right now because
I'm giving you motion to make sure that the feed is working on my end.
Everything just went out.
I know
on the screen. That. I was just like, wait a second. Hey,
the irony.
What's going on? I was just talking about how great this works, and now I see nothing.
But this would be, I would assume, more of a software thing than it would be a hardware thing.
I don't know what it was. I was just, and I don't even know. I didn't even know if anybody can see anything. This is just wonderful. Thanks, computer.
Oh God!
Right? Well, let's go to the Task Mangler, if I can even get that to pull up. Very first thing we're gonna do. You guys are listening to me troubleshoot something in real time, because if nothing else, I've at least got audio of this.
Wait, you mean it's like a podcast?
I mean, if you want to describe it in such a way, kind of, yeah, because it's all just audio.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure I close everything that I possibly can, because I don't want to have to restart the program. But
oh God, no.
I feel like I'm going to have to, because I'm not getting anything on my main display at all.
See,
and I'm knocking over drinks.
This is where I would think that this is a Zoom problem, right?
I mean, I would kind of think so, but
because what I'm seeing, like, I'm just getting a black screen from you, but I can still see me on my end.
Right. Yeah. So, but you're getting a black screen from me, so that means nobody. Okay, guys, I don't often do this, but it looks like we're going to stick a feather in this. Give me just a moment, and we're going to see what I can restart, because I'm going to have to restart the whole famdamly, it looks like. Because I can't even get the task mangler to come up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a restart. Hard reset.
Yeah, so let me, and the real pisser is, if I don't end this video appropriately, we're going to lose the video recording, too. This is a real... all I wanted to say was everything was working great. That's all I wanted to say. And I wanted to say, oh, I'm so amazed at how fast that render did. And now, nothing, man. Nothing. And, if I could get into the task mangler, I could at least try closing some programs. But I can't. It won't come up. The settings won't come up. I can't.
Yeah. You're locked out, essentially.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do, Trent. I'm going to turn off. I'm going to reach. Thankfully, I've got everything rigged just enough. Okay, now I'm looking at you. All right, so it might have been the good old I don't want to say, but there's a piece of software that sometimes can make things go wiggy, which I actually just talked about with you.
You have to turn off.
Hi, everybody. There. Okay. Well, let's see. Hold on. Let's.
It's so
this
funny.
This is what home broadcasting is like, guys. I'm reaching under the desk, right, and I'm turning on and off the prompter, so that way, because I figured having it on USB port would be better, because that way I would be able to like turn it off when it's not needed, right? Yep. And now I need to pin. No, you're still pinned. Okay, there we go. Let me see if there you are. There we go. Wow, that was so anyway, it was amazing that I could sit there and I could start this render happening. And it's the first time in a long time, Trent, I came back and I'm just like, holy shit, it's done
already? Yeah.
Yeah. It was so ridiculously fast. I couldn't believe it.
That's what I've noticed too, actually, in the differences of the editing speeds and stuff like that has been pretty comparable. But as far as like the final render goes, insane, dude, incredibly fast, which has kind of, I've gotten, and I probably don't need to do it anymore. But when I was using a slower GPU, I was pre-rendering any graphic I had, and then using the previews as part of the export. And so it doesn't have to re-render that a second time. Yeah. And that helps speed things up a little bit. But now it's like, don't even really need to bother about it. It is insanely fast. And that's the thing that I've noticed the most is that, just the render speed is so much faster. The editing jankiness, I think, has proved that it's more Adobe problems than it is hardware problems that I run into. Don't
get me started. I literally, I probably talked about this last episode, but I have an issue where, because I've got this Samsung Odyssey 49-inch screen, right? The big parabolic one, which is beautiful and wonderful. But sometimes I open up Adobe products and I do a lot of work with filters, Trent. Okay. I do a lot of filters to improve audio quality, reduce echo, all kinds of crap, okay?
Yeah.
And so I was occasionally opening them up, and the little window that pops up for the particular plugin I'm trying to use is all
stuck behind. Does it get stuck behind another window and you can't get it?
No, I've had that happen too, but no, they got the window renders wrong and everything's real tiny.
Oh, yes. The UI scaling is a huge pain in the ass in anything that's not 1080.
Yeah, man. That's exactly. I have a friend that I worked with at Play TV that works at Adobe, and I'm like, hey, man, I can't find anything. I wouldn't reach out to you like this, and I'm sorry, but do you know what this is? And he's like, oh yeah, totally, it's this. I'm like,
Yeah.
He's like, it just increased the scaling on your monitor. I'm like, not going to do that, bro. Not going to do that.
Oh, hell no. No. Yeah. I'm going to buy this, like, yeah, no, that's dumb. That's dumb.
I'm gonna buy this 49-inch screen,
exactly,
and then I'm gonna use it like it's a 19-inch 4:3 aspect ratio monitor. You know,
that's no.
That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. But it is, and it's across all the Adobe products too. And the one that I find it the most with is in Photoshop. The UI stuff, like because there's so many different tools that I use in Photoshop and Illustrator, like actual like little like things you click on to use. They get so tiny. And then if you do change the UI scaling in your settings, it doesn't change the font. It only changes the icons. And so the font is still like super tiny and you're trying to read whatever in the hell it is you just clicked on. Oh, that one. I've not raged about that one for a while.
It drives me nuts. By the way, for everybody that sat through that entire tech ordeal, that's the reason why I run audio backup. That's also the reason why when I'm smart enough, I also have that device, the capture device that Trent sent me a couple years back, just as a backup to capture stuff that way too. Because, that way we're not dependent on just the recording. I know everything's not hosed right now. It's not going to look pretty, but I've got backups. You know what I mean? You got to have backups.
Dude, yes. Because, because the second that you don't, it bites you in the ass, without a doubt.
Yeah, exactly. As a matter of fact, that guy that I do stuff with is launching a new podcast, and because he records it at his house, it's not like it's the first time he's not independently distributing a podcast, I believe.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
yeah
through somebody else, and so this is the first time he ran into the issue where somebody came back and they're like, "Hey, can we do something about the audio quality?" So, I'm going to have to introduce concepts like sound absorbing panels. But when I do that, one of the things because I was told to make things simpler last time, right?
Yeah.
So the Zoom company has this great camera. It's like a QX8R or something or other. Can't remember.
Exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
And you can run audio right into it. So considering he was talking about doing video, it's like, okay, this does both. And sneaky me, now I've got him running isolated audio to each camera on mics, right?
Yeah, dude.
But the problem is it's not like a studio where things are locked down. Cameras get repurposed, dials get spun.
Yep.
Audio gets overcompensated. And, there's nothing like explaining to somebody that, unfortunately, if you've recorded it overmodulated, there is very little to be done.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah. So anyway, that all leads me to where we're going with this talk. Not that part, but me being an idiot and not reading, if you remember that trend. So I upgraded the graphics card, and for most purposes, it works great, other than what we just saw.
Which, again, that was an external device. That was a widget. It wasn't the computer.
It wasn't the machine. But one of the things that bugs me the most, Trent, about this entire setup is that I have a real issue with controlling the lighting. The image quality is pretty good in here, right? Because we're using a DSLR, and I'm running it into the Camlink 4K. Excuse me. But I've been really kind of I can only get the Camlink 4K to work on one of two USB ports, and they are the ones on the front of the machine, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And I am more interested in using the Canon DSLR for content not in here, okay?
Right. Correct.
So I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to take a step back. But, I'm going to take advantage of some of them sales and sometimes, a guy kind of thing. And I thought, well, why not go with something like the Elgato Facecam Pro 4K 60? right? Because it mounts right in the back of prompter.
Yep.
Okay, does that. I have 2 different types of Stream Decks here for controlling things, and you can control it integrated through that because Elgato also makes the Stream Decks, and they make the prompter. So I thought, you know what, this is a great idea. This is a great idea. I'm gonna do this, but I didn't read the fine print. Do you know what I missed, Trent?
What?
You must have USB-C on both ends. No adapters. No 2.1.
Really?
No,
Really?
it must be.
It won't do a USB-C to USB-A adapter. It has to be
No,
direct.
no, my friend. No,
Shit.
you cannot do that. Yeah, that's exactly. So now, waiting for a $21.99 PCI card to put into the tower.
Yep. But those things, I got a PCIe to SATA. I think there's 12 different SATA ports on there that are all running at their regular speed. So I was able to actually increase how many hard drives I could put into my tower. Dude, PCIe has changed the game. Like, it's crazy.
Yep, exactly. And the nice thing is too, maybe it can help me simplify some of my PCI devices that I'm arranged. Yeah, Mr. Marvelite even pointing out, I bought one of those just for that purpose. So he bought an external card to go into his internal card, to go into his machine to expand his PCI ports. I'm doing the exact same thing now. But it's kind of a step back because I'm switching to a quote unquote webcam. But from everything I see, it's got amazing quality, right? Yep. And then I'll be able to, like I said, pull the DSLR out of there, which already stresses me out because I forget to turn it off all the time.
Right.
It's always on.
Yeah.
The hours on this thing are nuts. But and you can tweak the settings on it. Go ahead, laugh it up. You may as well. All I can do is laugh. You can tweak the settings on this just like you would a DSLR, if not even more. And it'll get me one step less in the way of an adapter that's doing the job, right? Because this is taking mini HDMI, turning it into HDMI, then it's going into a USB port. Maybe it'll clear up some of these issues I'm having too. Who knows? But hopefully that will be hooked up next week because the card arrives tomorrow. Maybe, you know what? Maybe, dare I say it, maybe over the weekend I might do something for our Patreon supporters. Ooh. Drop in, test out the new cam, fill out some envelopes and some shipping boxes, and get some stuff done while we test out the new rig, if you will. But the cool thing about that I really like, when you think about the fact that you can control it just using like the Stream Deck. If you guys aren't familiar with the Stream Deck is, just imagine, essentially what it really is, it's a tiny screen like this that's hidden behind actuator buttons, and you can customize the button to do like almost anything. I use one to switch between, look, there's Trent, there's me, there's the show number. I do this all, it's integrated. So I basically have a switcher. All of the audio you hear me play is from a larger 4. Yeah, we know that. 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 32 buttons, right? And you can do multiple pages. So I've got multiple, the first page is when Trent is on. The second page is when Tony's on. The third one is just a bunch of insane audio drops. And the fourth one is like if I'm just sitting here doing this myself for like the Patreon subscribers. So, it's a wonderful multifaceted device, and you can control the camera somehow through there. So I could actually, if I wanted to, with the push of a button, I could just be suddenly zoomed in on myself and then back out kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to that. But, I got to wait till I can put this card in.
I'm trying to find it right now, and I just cannot, spur of the moment. It was the coolest thing ever, though. Instagram, of course, knew what I wanted to see, and it's a Kickstarter for a device not unlike the Stream Deck, but it has a lot of different other options that you can buy for it, and then they kind of sync together like blocks, and so you could build like your own control panel of like a bunch of different things. Like a turning knob or a lever or like a bunch of like a vertical Stream Deck and then a horizontal Stream Deck. I can't remember what
what's crazy, Trent. I think I was on the Instagram and I saw the exact same thing.
Okay,
and it's from a brand. It's from a brand you would recognize too. The name, and I was like, what are they doing that for? Kind of thing. But I don't remember. Now it's just two old guys trying to remember some shit on the internet. Where's that thing I saw? Wait, no, hold on. I saw it on the Facebook. It was really nice. I'm telling you, I almost bought it for you, but I didn't. And the only way, the reason why you're not finding it is because now you've got to try and scroll through all the stories and hope it pops up again.
I know, dude. And most of the time
I can't go back to it.
I normally I use the save function and then create like little lists of things of just like I have like a cool tech or a new tech or Kickstarters even. And for some reason, I to be honest, I was probably taking a dump is why I didn't. But I didn't save it into a list. I haven't been able to find it since. And searching for it is like, what do you type in? Like customizable block external peripheral computer device?
I don't know. You could probably go with Stream Deck competitor kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. I know what you're talking about, though. It was a modular one, so that way you could have, because like that's the limitation, if you want to call it that, of the Stream Deck, is that you're limited to just buttons. They have another version, for example, that also has knobs so you can control volumes. And again, it's whatever you want to assign. Wow, this is the most tech-heavy episode of NetHeads in a long time. But the cool thing about that modular one is that instead you could have the one thing, you could buy the things you want, and then you can have the control knobs for volume and the like without having to get an entirely different unit, or you could get the modules you want. Like I even saw it looked like it had temperature gauges for the CPU and GPU.
Yeah, yes, you could customize, like whatever thing you wanted to monitor on your system. So like you could do your heat, you could do your GPU speed, your CPU speed, your memory speed, like all. I can't.
Now, technically speaking, I could assign buttons to that too. Okay, right. I could do that. I could do that, and I could see it here. But anyway, so I was super excited to do it. Now, you remember I started the show off, Trent. I think I did. You see, the problem is, folks, what you may not realize is that some things are talked about before the show, but our Patreon subscribers get to see those. And I haven't really plugged it, so patreon.com/netheads on there. But they get a pre-show and a little bit of post-show while we're doing stuff. And I don't know if I talked about it on the show, but I have a 3D printer going. And this is the other reason why I am dumb, Trent. I should change. This is not Trent-ertainment. This is Will Dumb. Is what it is. and that's how dumb I am. I can't even come up with a clever name for it. You know what I mean? You know, and you can't combine Will and idiot. Like Williot? No, that doesn't work. Widiot? No, not quite.
Widiot's not bad though. It's pretty good.
But it's But it's not Will centric. Okay.
Yeah. No, you're right. Widiot would be like a good pub trivia team name. The Widiots.
There you go. Now I know I'm gonna name Willful Ignorance. There we go. Thank you, Miranda Janelle in the chat.
That's it.
Willful Ignorance. So not only did I not see the USB-C thing, but also there are times when I get things, Trent, and I'm smart and I hold on to them. I'm dumb and I hoard them, or in a breath of inspiration, I may be cleaning and I say, you know what? I'm never going to use this. Let's get rid of it. Let's be mindful. Yep. All right? Let's get rid of it. And the reason why the 3D printer is going is because there's a custom faceplate for this thing to connect it to the prompter's back. Nice. I think I may have chucked it. But here is the genius of the company that makes this, Elgato. Here's the genius of it. Are you ready for it? Because they're smarter than me. They offer the 3D print files on their site. So that way, if you need one, you can make your own.
Yep, that's smart.
That is very smart, and I'm super thankful for that because, now it's printing up, and I'll be able to do that. And by the way, 3D printers, again, amazing tech for something as complex as printing out a new faceplate to mount your new equipment to something, or something as simple as a 2-part colored print so you could finally have a bat symbol behind you, too. Okay? See the little button there? So...
Mm-hmm.
That's what, and that's the great thing and the bad thing about 3D printers. It's like, well, I can make almost anything, but the problem is I can make almost anything.
Yeah.
Hence why I still have to glue and 3D print a a Wolverine hand over the skeletal hand to the base. But yeah, I'm really good at starting projects and I'm really bad at finishing them. Like, for example, have I ever shown you this, Trent? I've talked about it, I think, before, but I don't know if I've ever shown it to you. I have to remember how to use it, though. I'm not sure if it's magnetic. I don't remember how the mount goes on. That's how good I am at this stuff. This is the reason why you want me to push your tech product. Right? One of them is, I don't know if it's a grabber or if that's the power button. I can't remember. It would make sense if it were the power button, but then again, it would also make sense if it's dead. Anyway, what this is, Trent. Oh, there we go. Now I see something turning red. This is something that can go up on my door. And what it can do is it could integrate potentially with things like Microsoft Outlook or Microsoft Teams and the like. Also, like I said, the faceplates are all magnetic, so you can have your own custom one. Let me see where the damn power button is, though, now that I got this lid off here. But the beautiful thing about it, not only is it that it has that integration, but also that you can also do customized messages on it. Oh. And you can swap out faceplates. So I could do, when we're podcasting, I could do on air.
I was just going to say, yeah, like an on air thing. Yeah.
Right. I could do that. And here is the old fashioned on air sign. I think it needs to be charged, which is the only drawback of this thing, I think, as a product, is the fact that you do need to charge it, obviously. But
it's fully battery powered.
Unlike what you're seeing here, it is very easy to like just take off and out of this in order to swap the faceplates or charge it. Oh, yeah, to take it off the wall.
And then for faceplates wise, is that something that like you just can print out for them? Or
I mean, technically speaking, yes, I could probably 3D print it as well, but they didn't offer the files. But I've got this one, and it came with a black one and a white one, so I could have anything I want. I could have anything I want, Trent.
No, like that's totally like that old school like 1950s radio of like that's like metal on the sides, and it's like a neon that you flip that says on air now.
Yeah. And honestly speaking, look, see, I've been talking, Zach's pointing out, I've been talking about the BusyBox as long as he's known me. And it's true. This is the BusyBox Digital. And I've mentioned it, I know, on the show before, because it's one of the things I haven't put up yet because I'm quote unquote gonna make content about it. And of course I have not. But the funny part is I at least finally figured out like how I'm going to present it. Cause I'm just going to do a video. It's like, oh, and if you're working from home or you got people in the house and you need to let them know you're busy, the BusyBox is great. You can even do custom messages. Like I've got one that says no, don't, absolutely not, don't even, all kind of tiled words into almost like a vision board type thing. But I finally figured out when I do actually do the video, the custom message I'm going to have is going to be like, I'm going to be on this side of it and it'll be an arrow pointing at me and say total nerd. Right, that'll just flash up. Look at it and hey, and then
I'm really interested into the like Teams interface because I'm thinking of it from like a studio booking perspective, anything like that. Like, could I sync it to just say like if it was free, like if nothing was booked in this room at that time, it would just automatically say that, or if it was booked, it would say like occupied or something like that, based off of like a Microsoft an Outlook calendar or something.
I don't see why it couldn't do that, because considering it's supposed to integrate that way, that would make total sense.
To me, like that's like from like an enterprise aspect, that would be huge. As with Microsoft booking is like taken off and like filling a need that like a lot of companies have spent a lot of money trying to figure out. WeWork and all the others that didn't do it well. That I think booking is part of the Microsoft suite is going to do really well.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Although I will say that most offices now, I think they've moved away from like the concept of using an overhead projector for things and using a lot of just like regular 48, 42, 43 inch televisions and cameras. So a lot of them will integrate those monitors with something. So that way it like displays right on the screen, this is occupado, if you will.
Yeah.
Right. But for the home, this is nice, because I could even say, like, if I've got my door closed and I'm just like, you know what, I'm just concentrating, go ahead and knock.
Yep.
And that way, people know. Or, I can put up a message like, bring me a sandwich. And maybe one would appear. You don't know. It might.
You never know. Yeah,
it could
you
happen.
never know.
You'd think you'd like it to, but maybe it won't. Maybe it will. I don't know. Why was I bringing up the busy box? I have no idea.
Just about like finding stuff that you're like, oh, maybe I threw that away.
Well, thank you. You're connecting the dots for me. As I was trying to find the faceplate that I'm now having to 3D print, I find another box and I'm like, oh crap, the busy box. I need to hang this damn thing is what I need to do. And you know what? Look, here's the thing too. I'm just doing it because I want to do it. It's not like I have an obligation to do it. But, of course, I want to feature the product in a nice way if I like it.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody needs to see me use like command strips in order to hang it on my door, right? That's a part of the experience I don't think anyone needs. But what do I know? People still like unboxing videos. Even worse, I don't know if you've seen this trend, Trent, but it drives me absolutely nuts. They will, and for any of my mutuals on TikTok that do this, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the other people, okay? But it's the people that when they do an unboxing of a thing, it's all about, they take it, you don't see me, you just see like it coming out of the box and they're like,
they're like ASMRing it.
Yes, they're ASMRing it. And look, I don't need it ASMR'd. I just want to see the thing. You know what I mean? If you're unboxing a 3D printer, a Bamboo Lab A1, and you're showing how easy it is to set up, I don't need to see you clicking your nails on it. Or like in my case, I got no nails. I'd be having a tap on it with something.
Yeah.
I don't need it ASMR'd, okay? I don't need the ASMR. Don't give me the ASMR for this. Just show me the thing being set up. Yeah. Because I'll tell you, when I am aimlessly scrolling about, Trent, there are certain videos that will always draw me in, and I don't know why. If somebody is building some type of external building, I got to see that. These guys that clean rugs, okay? All they're doing is they're taking a dirty-ass rug, they're putting a cleaning solution on it, they're using a rotary scrubber on it, and
I would watch
power.
the shit
Yeah,
out of that.
it's just seeing how oh my gosh. Faceplate's done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude, that's rad.
Isn't that festive? It's festive and fun. I love those videos. And then, like, when somebody is 3D printing something or designing it and seeing that come from beginning to end, those are the type of videos that will instantly draw me in. But you don't need to click on it when you're taking it out of the box. That's all I'm saying.
No? There's a whole niche category for that. Go there. That's where I would be if I wanted to like have my like shoulders cringe up around my neck and be like, oh, just stop it. No, gross.
What type of videos is it that draw you in when you're casually looking?
Oh gosh, dude. Machining videos is one. Anytime I see like someone taking metal and finally tuning like the on a Dremel or a machining device of any sort, like I could watch, and they're just shaving off like millimeters of metal to
oh my god, if you show me a video with a lathe, come on,
dude, like it's I love that stuff. Like
or Adam Savage's one day builds, okay?
Yes, or even just Adam Savage just being like, oh, here's a tool I use sometimes. This is what I like about it.
Let me tell you something. Adam Savage is the smartest son of a bitch that I know. And the reason why I can say that is because he said the thing that I have now adhered to, which is it's okay to buy a cheap, if you need a tool and you're going to have to buy one, buy the cheap one. And then if it gets broken, that means you used it enough. Now you get the expensive one.
Yep, exactly.
Right?
Yep, I'm so with you on that. Yeah, because, and a lot of times you might like think you need a tool and then you get it and you're like, oh, this is not the right tool I needed. And then you're just stuck with it. And if you went, balls to the wall on the most expensive, like, Husqvarna or DeWalt or whatever it is that you bought, you're now like, oh, great. Now what am I going to do with this?
That's where now you're finding it on Facebook Marketplace, just trying to get some of your money back.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. Yeah. No, it's so true. And I like review videos that take like a scientific approach to things, right? Like Project Farm, I think, is the end all be all of like review, which is the best of this type of thing, be it a vacuum, be it epoxy welding or whatever it might be, glue guns. Like that guy has his shit dialed.
Right. Sorry, I blanked out there for a minute.
Oh yeah, you're good. And then of course, just professional wrestling videos. I'm always going to watch.
Well, okay, that's understandable.
Yeah.
And by the way, the faceplate I was mentioning, here it is.
Ooh.
Now, this one was for those of you not seeing the video, I am holding up a build plate, which is, by the way, this is an amazing build plate. This is also not an ad, but it's from Slice Works, WRX, and it is a triple dipped build plate into a polymer so that I never need glue or glue sticks to get things to hold on to this. Once it warms up, it gets sticky. The print holds on. I'm able to print little detailed stuff. It's an amazing build plate for my A1. But this, what I'm holding up is the thing that is hold on, everyone deserves the crack. Take that how you will, phrasing good or bad. And we'll pop that right off the build plate. Some of my supports already came off. They stayed behind. So what I'm holding is this faceplate mount, but the challenge of it is that the back part of it is domed. Okay, and I didn't do one setting, so there are little rings there. But
Right.
The problem with it being domed, and the best way for it to print was laying here, it is so full of supports right now. All of this stuff in here is nothing but support material.
Create that dome as it, yeah. Uh-huh.
Which, great. I'm glad it worked and all, and I'm glad I was able to just print this bad boy up. But, now I know I'm going to have to sit down with a pair of pliers or some of the cutters, which, by the way, I'm still very curious. Did these just used to be like wire snips before the 3D printing world took them over and took ownership of them?
Yeah, I have those laying around everywhere in my house for zip ties because I any cable I have has to be bound some way or another, and it's always just been zip ties. So I have those exact snips.
Look, buddy, I'm going to stop you right there. Leave your personal life out of it and just tell me about the snips, okay? But by the way, Zach in the chat is bringing up the best point. He's like, trash is ASMR, then here's some ASMR while I crack the build plate. Fair enough. Anyway, so your big problem is that you're saying you're very fastidious when it comes to cables, and you got to zip tie them bastards.
Yeah, and so I literally have those snips because they will do a flush snip, right? Like it's flush, and there's nothing. Well, there's a lot of things worse, but it's annoying when you like go to grab something and you get a big scratch up your arm from the hanging nail of a zip tie that's been snipped.
The dangling chad of a zip tie, if you will.
I almost called it that. Yeah, I almost called it that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. But I gotta tell you, man, I am amazed at how clever they were to think, you know what, guys? We're not going to charge them for this. If they need to replace it, just let them print it. Like, some bitch. Yeah, right. Exactly, my friend.
Yeah. Like that's a company that I think has that isn't planning for obsolescence. Do you know what I mean?
Or more to the point, they realize who their audience is, and they realize they're probably a little more advanced, and there may be people that are like, I think I threw that faceplate out. Why don't we just make one available for download? And they did.
Yeah.
Which, for all I know, it didn't come with the Facecam Pro mount. You never know, right? It could be that when it's packaged up, it was just the Facecam or the Mark II, and they didn't even think about the Pro.
Well, and the prompter itself can be used with any camera. So it doesn't necessarily, like, I could see why it wouldn't come with it. Like, because
you'd think that, but when you get the prompter, Trent, they've got an overall generic shroud one, which is what I'm using right now. Yeah. They have a DSLR one with all kinds of step rings for whatever lens you're using.
Yeah.
And obviously all their products. So I'm sure it was in there and I chucked it. And it's just the title of this episode, it should have been willful ignorance, but because I am just so dumb. And, like that thing about wires, I'm telling you right now, my desk would send you into a tizzy, my friend, because it has just been hot swapped of so many devices. And I don't want to change anything because I know That's going to be like 2 days of my life.
Oh, it is though. Like that's why when my computer was getting rebuilt, like I took the time to go through and redo everything. Like I have to hold my monitors and stuff. I've taken what is normally do it yourself build shelves, right? That are just metal click together shelves. And I've screwed like this shelf cage to the desk.
Again,
itself.
I'm going to stop you right there. Leave your personal life out of this. Just tell me about the shelves.
And so now I've got like monitors that are bolted to this thing, and then shelves, and then I've got coping to run cables down, so it's all nice and clean and everything. And the best part is I've got my cameras actually now mounted to the wall and doesn't touch anywhere on the desk, so I can sit here and rock the table, and the camera finally stays not moving at all.
Like that.
Dude, because like I bump shit and I'm moving around like and it like to me I'm always like now I'm moving that distracting. Yeah, mounted it directly into the wall now.
I can understand that, and believe me, if it weren't for it taking up space, I would definitely more than likely have my camera just mounted on a separate tripod, because as you can see, if I sneeze near this thing, the entire thing, it's just like, oh, look, it's gone off-roading. I don't know how the show went off-road, but it went off-road. But at the same time, this also is a standing desk. So if I wanted to do the show standing, I could. And, when, you have this kind of crap, you're like, I want to look really good for all my video conference calls. That's why I have decapitated Deadpools behind me. That's where the blur feature really comes in handy.
I was just going to say that's where you're just like, pay no attention to the toys behind the curtain.
Right. I mean, it's just either that or they're like, I think we need to talk to HR because, they're always talking about, oh, he was really quiet. He was a nice guy, though. And then,
yeah. Never would have suspected, just, nice guy, kept to himself.
Yeah, exactly. That's not how I want to be described. Anyway, Trent, as I mentioned, I'm not in the best place, so I think it's time for us, as I am sitting here just not even thinking about a podcast and ripping plastic off of plastic. I think it's time to wrap this one up for now.
Yeah,
because,
I think that's safe.
At the point where we're like, we should have called it when we were trying to remember, of all things, an impulse ad that was shown to us.
Like I've been like casually trying to like come up with a Google combination that would give it to me. I can't find it.
I mean, yeah, and the pisser of it is we're gonna find it like right afterwards.
Yep. Yeah,
but
like I'm gonna go sit down and have dinner. First thing I'm gonna look at is gonna be this ad because my devices are listening to me, intuiting what I need.
Well, I would think that, but I have said Elgato in Stream Deck in front of this thing so many times that you would think it would pop up again. But no, it's not, and it's driving me insane.
I know, man.
Now you've got me all mad. Why would you do this to me?
It is my. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. I'll own it. I'm sorry.
I'll accept that. Because I'm never going to find out what it is now. Or the thing that's really going to be annoying is like 2 minutes after we're done, and you message me going, "It's this."
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right. It is that. And I told you it was made by that company where you're like, oh, they're doing that kind of thing.
But yeah, what business do they have making this device that we described
exactly. But thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in and listening. Thank you to this week's Patreon supporter, Josh Mundahl. Your efforts have led to me unveiling even more of my stupidity. So thank you. Very much appreciated. Until next time, my name is Will.
My name's Trent.
Live long and prosper.
Come!
I mean, that wasn't it, but I'll give it to you.
Damn it,
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a Smodcast production. Smodcast Podcast, using our mouths on you since 2007.
Didn't warn you about the change, did I? Like all of a sudden, wait, that's not Will. Who is that? Right? I threw you.
Yeah,
Did you even notice?
I was like, what's Kevin doing on our show? What's
You
going on?
would have noticed even more, but you're still sitting there trying to find the goddamn ad, aren't you?
I found it's the thing,
You found it?
but it's maybe, it's European though. Maybe not. No, probably not.
No, probably not. Bye, everybody.